Grundig Majestic model 4006U, 4006U stereo. And it says here FM 10 circuits, AM 7 circuits. There's the Grundig logo. I'm not quite sure what the stereo refers to. We'll take a look at that. And in this video, we're just going to do an assessment of this radio. It looks like it's in fairly poor, abused shape. The big news this week was that content creator Ozzie 50 committed suicide. He was a bit of a fan of the EOL videos here on this channel, and he was kind of the master of the EOL. He's pretty famous for destroying front-loading washing machines. He throws looks like a microwave transformer into one, which it's severely out of balance and rips itself apart. So anyway, sad news. Rest in peace, man. Rodolco 2007 and Big Clive put out some really eloquent videos discussing the topic. I'll include links below in the video description. We got a Grundig Majestic model 4006U stereo here to do an analysis on. So let's get into this and we'll see. We'll just pop this off right here and take a closer look. Appearing on the dirty green carpet today is a lovely mid-century George Jetson with extra rust and crust. Geez, what'd this guy do? Keep this in the bathroom? So where do we get stereo here? How do we get stereo out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tubes? Doesn't really seem too realistic. I see the dial cord's broken. That's already a major turn off. The antenna cable is cut. The eye tube looks like it's gone to air. See, the getter cap is white. Doesn't appear to be rubbing, but one can't tell until AC is applied. So it's got two EL95s. What is an EL95? I'm sorry, these numbers are not what I am used to working with. Get two EL95s. I guess those are audio outputs. They're Siemens tubes. Valves. Better call them valves. Boy, look at the crust on that. So yeah, the other problem with this is when these are exposed to moisture like this, all the paper capacitors are going to be shorted if this has any paper in it. Wow, this is in bad shape. What the hell happened here? So this is supposed to be an EABC 80. It's been replaced with a 6 AK8. I thought 6T8 was the same as EABC80, but I don't know, whatever. This thing's just crusty as crusty could be. Okay, let's make electrons go in and see what happens. We have a watt meter here. Injecting electrons now. Ooh, crackle. You know what? Where's the AM loop antenna? Seriously, where's the AM loop antenna? Doesn't this have an AM loop antenna? Am I just overlooking it? Antenna ground. Sorry for the crappy, shaky handheld video I'm trying. Where is the AM loop antenna? Did somebody go, ooh, copper wire, we're eating steak tonight? So this right here must have been where the AM loop antenna was, and it is gone. That's part of the rotten dial cord. You know what? I'm thinking this thing is too far gone, because these switches have problems when they're not kept in the bathroom or the sauna. So this is just going to be a total nightmare to fix. This is like a candidate to throw out of the airplane that's going overhead. Seriously. This thing is just... Now we started out at 100 watts and we're dropping, so obviously we have bad filters in here that are reforming, which is not a good thing because they need to be replaced. This thing needs like complete everything done to it. And you know, you can pick these up on eBay. Usually the shipping costs more than the radio. I don't walk away from something very often, but when I start to see missing parts and broken dial cords, I just think to myself, well, I got better things around here to work on. And this doesn't belong to me. This belongs to a gentleman who asked me to check it out for him. Probably most valuable thing here are the transformers. Transformers and the tubes. I mean, the chassis is just rusted, dude. The owl agrees. I popped the bottom off there so we can get to some of the bottom of the valve bulbs tubes. And then I downloaded the SAMs just because I'm too lazy to go and dig it out, the paper copy. So this is from 1961. And yeah, I think it's trash. It's beyond what I want to fix, but we can have a little bit of fun diagnosing it. And I think the first thing to do is just to kind of put it on FM and go through and check some of the DC voltages. It does use these EL95s as an audio output. Like I say, I'm not familiar with EL95. I think EL86 is the 6BQ5. So yeah, it uses one EL95 to drive one speaker, and then it uses the other EL95 to drive the other speaker. Then the center transformer here drives the big 7 by 11 inch woofer in the front. So it's a pretty interesting way of making sound using 3 audio output transformers, 2 for high end, because of course with stereo you don't really need the bass to be stereo, because most of the stereo separation, if not all the stereo separation, is, I don't know what, 800 hertz and above or something like that. So you know, this way of doing this would sound very well. So yeah, let's get in here and do some voltage checks, and then we could use a signal tracer and we'll kind of diagnosticate this thing a little bit. 8 is supposed to be 70 volts. 60. 7, which is a plate, should be around 200. It's 198. Okay, we'll go back to this guy, which is the first FMIF amp. So 1 should be about 80. Say that's 5, should be about 200. Okay, well, I'm on this tube. 1, which I'm pretty sure I'm on 1 right there, should be 80, which that voltage comes from down here through a 33K, from B plus through a 33K, and we have 3 volts. So what's going on there? Where's the 33K? Is it that brown one right there? Is that the 33K? So on one side of the 33K we have jiggle-tastic multi-voltage here that's just kind of, yeah, you know what, that's my connection. This is all corroded and corrody-doodle. So we have 208 volts on one side of the 33K and 2 volts on the other. So gee, do we think that's open? Let me feel it. Let me see if it's hot. Actually, it is very hot. And now it's, yeah, 33K, right? 33K. It is quite warm. So where is that voltage going? What is shorting that to ground? This capacitor right here? That 0022 is shorting this to ground? So where is that 0022? Not, I'm sorry, 022, not 00. There's an 0082, but no, I'm interested in this 022. Where is that? So here again, on this side of the 33K, we have 3 volts. And that capacitor is, you can see where it's connected right there. It's the bottom one. What is that, WIMO? I bet if I cut that out of there, I bet that voltage will come right up. Just get a pair of cutters and do it. Actually, I guess it'd be easier to pull the tube out first, which I did, and the voltage did not come up. So let's cut that capacitor out. Now, I gotta say, I have never seen this style of capacitor before. These are a first for me. Here we go. I'm gonna snip it right now. And I think it closed back up. Let me push it out of the way. There you go. So that capacitor is shorted. See where I cut it right there? Unfortunately, our radio didn't wake up, did it? It's not like all of a sudden the music started blaring. Okay, our plate voltage is supposed to be 200 and it's 189. The cathode, it says 1.5 volts, it's measuring 1.2. It's got another one of those, but it's obviously not shorted. So, besides, that's the AM oscillator. We don't care about that right now. We're on FM. Guess I should check 3. Thing has 2 cathodes in it. Okay. Checking 3, it's the same thing, 1.21 volts. So now we got all our voltages here. Of course, it was missing off pin 1 because we had a shorted capacitor right there. But that's cut out of the circuit. That will degrade the performance, but it will not kill it totally. So I went through and I checked these other caps. They're leaky, but they're not. Those are in the audio circuit, so they're probably slowly destroying the audio output tubes. Just for the hell of it, I'm looking at the control grid where the audio goes into the output tube. You can see a 47K there and then a 0.01. 50 volts here, should be 0 volts. I'm on that. Look at this. We have 27 volts leaking through that capacitor, and it's another one of those. It's another one of those. So yeah, that will burn the output tube up in short order. This is why you never want to run old equipment, even if it works with bad capacitors. So the first thing I got to do is I got to get those 0.01s out of there before we continue troubleshooting it anymore. Like I say, I don't plan on restoring this. This is just now a troubleshooting video, but all these need to go. These little, I don't know, they almost look like little pieces of hard candy, like little Jolly Rancher capacitors. I've never seen these before. And yeah, I don't work on that much of this German stuff, but the stuff I have worked on, I haven't seen those little hard candy caps before. But they're bad. If you ever see these in something, get rid of them. They're all leaky and shorted. Right, here's what I did. You know, I just don't care about this thing. I had these couple of these boards with these little orange capacitors on them. They are what are they, 0.1 at 400 volts or 0.1 at 200 volts? They are 0.1 at 250. So, like I say, I don't care about this radio. It'd just be fun to kind of resurrect it and make it play, but it is so oxidized from being a bathroom set or whatever. So you can see what I did there. I just put them in series to get the DC voltage off of the output tubes. And the leads on these old capacitors, all these leads are so corroded, solder won't stick to them unless you file them. It's just everything is so corroded and oxidized in this. And yeah, I powered it up. The audio output seems a little happier now that they're not all biased on, but there's still no sound. So we got a couple different ways we could go about this. Pretty sure the IF is working because all the voltages are there. But what we could do is we could start injecting 10.7 and see if anybody's happy, or we could go at it with the signal tracer and see if we're getting anything out of the tuner. I have a feeling it's going to be an issue, a shorted cap in the tuner like we saw on a previous Nordmann-D. I thought it might be fun to dissect one of these, and this is the one that was shorted. Was it WIMA, W-I-M-A? And yeah, let's cut it open and see what's in it, because I've never seen this style of capacitor before, honestly. That's not to say that they don't exist in a ton of equipment, but I mostly work on American-made stuff, so of course, you know, let's cut it open and see what's inside of it. So it looks like it's just a standard paper and foil capacitor. No wonder why it's shorted. Like I said early on, the humidity and the amount of moisture this thing has been exposed to, you know, the moisture just creeps right in. I don't care if it's epoxy coated or what, it'll just eventually get wet and short. The paper becomes a conductor when it's wet. So, okay, these are just paper capacitors. So they all need to be changed. Alright, I'm just going into right here, pin 2. It's a line that comes over here to the FM tuner. And I'm just using this right here as a signal generator. Seems like it's working there. It's not real loud. It is working. 10.7 is getting through it. Like I say, I would think it would be like deafeningly loud to where we couldn't even handle it. The little pointer thing came unglued. But that's about right, because it's 10 to 11.4. That's about right. Let's go down one in the chain. Try and inject it here on pin 2 of the EF89. So this is just getting this close to the first IF. I don't get anything. If I just get it close to the second IF, I'm even touching it there. Yeah, let's get this capacitor in here and see if that increases the sensitivity, because there's Definitely a lack of gain in the first stage. I put that capacitor in there, or I replaced the one I cut out, and look at the sensitivity difference. So that woke it up quite a bit. And that shows you both stages have gain, but we still don't have any mumble rap to listen to. You know what? This damn tube socket is crustier than...
Between breakfast, brunch, lunch, dinner, and dinner. My hunger.
Where's my mumble rap?
He would never on there.
There we go. Oh yeah. Blah, 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 blah.
Along with 2 chains, because this vibe's coming up. Get those passes, realstreetfest.com. But if you're feeling lucky, your chance to win 2-day passes is right.
Unfortunately, with the new YouTube algorithms, we can't stay on the blah, 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 very long because it'll get copyright tagged. Works good. Sounds good. But then they sent me away to teach me how to be sensible. Logic.
Beyond the same old thing.
Don't miss our giant memorial mattress sale.
But there's a huge difference between Sit and Sleep's memorial sale and other.
This has got to be the crustiest tube socket I've ever seen. If you don't pull the tube out and get it in exactly the right position, boy, is it hot. If you push it in all the way, it's dead. I guess I could try cleaning this tube socket back here.
And a devil played by David Tennant. Likely friendship spanning 6 hours. Amazon original, Good Omens is now.
My FM.
Carmen.
Help this people.
I sprayed it. I pulled it out of there and sprayed it with contact cleaner. It's definitely better. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna clamp one of my test leads onto the AM antenna, where the AM antenna should be. Okay, I just clamped my test leads onto the AM antenna. I do not believe this circuit uses the AM antenna as an oscillator coil, so this might work. Sounds like it's working. Somebody's shorting out here. Yeah. That's broadcast. Man, those switches are crusty. These plates are all shorting out on this condenser. Yeah, it's not happy without that antenna. Yeah, I won't even get KNX. Yeah, this is not happy. So this right here, this L11, this right here, that's got to be the bar antenna. And yeah, these are the external antenna connections. So I don't think with that bar antenna missing, it's going to work. Maybe it will, but yeah, it looks like it needs that. So broadcast is with it connected. Yeah, it just looks like it feeds into the... I don't see why we would need that coil. The oscillator is separate. The AM oscillator is right here. And... good question. Look at the freaking complexity of this. Also, this channel over here is real weak. I pulled the tube out. Things. It's not the tube, that's for sure. Okay, here's the deal with this. Like I said in the beginning, this is just an analysis video. So here's the analysis. The AM bar antenna is missing, and it doesn't seem like the AM is working right anyway. The tuning capacitor here is all bent and corroded. There's a audio problem, even though it's not stereo. This channel here is much louder than this channel. It needs a complete recap of all of those red hard candy capacitors. That's what I'm calling them now, hard candy capacitors. And it probably, if you're going to use it, it needs the electrolytic. It might need these capacitors here changed. It's just been in a horribly damp environment, and it's just in real bad shape. And kind of the real killer for me with this is this dial cord. You know, I'm going to want to charge the guy that owns this $150 just to restring that dial cord. And I don't think that's 2 hours to restring that plus the cord. I think that's a bargain. Hey. And then, you know, the rest of it to recap it. So he's going to have to part with a little cash to make this work right. I hope you learned something from the analysis video. Yes, capacitors in this case. This is definitely a Jason JJ cruiser. He will be cruising hard when he sees that some bad capacitors were keeping this from working. So, yeah, that's a Grundig 4006 AM/FM shortwave receiver from 1961. I just want to clarify that this stereo right here is in regards to this input for, I guess, a phonograph at the time. So the phonograph would have been stereo. The FM multiplex stereo encoding system that we still use today was approved by the FCC in 1961, which was the year this radio was made and sold according to the SAMs. So yeah, this would not have supported an FM multiplex decoder or an FM multiplex output or add-on. I'm sure you could add it on, but the FM, the stereo that they talk about here is left and right for the input only. And maybe if this thing doesn't work out right, we might end up with a stereo iPod input going into here. I don't know if the iPod output is enough to quite drive these tubes, but it is a thought if the rest of it is just too far gone and the owner of this doesn't want to deal with the cost of fixing it or whatever it'll take.
Okay, then can you just help me with your business legal name?
Sergeant Blarmware?
Like your business name?
Yeah,
Your business name?
Dragon Mixnarzalarmal.
Okay, can you just spell it out so I can write the correct spelling over here?
DRAGEN capital M C S N A R S A L A R A P H
E H. Okay. Is that ARAGENMCANAROARGH?
PHALEFEL.
Okay, it's RAGH, right? The last NC.
Yeah, RAPHELEFEL.
Okay. Can you just help me with your full name?
Dragon McSnarsalarfel. Alarplan Blarfe Mark Flarsarsler.
Okay. Fine. Can you just help me with your full name?
Dragon McSnarsalarf. Dragon McSnarsalarfel.
Dragon, or it's DRAGAN. Dragon?
GEN.
GEN. Okay. And the last name?
McSnarsalarfel.
Okay, Mitchell. MICHEAL. Mitchell?
MC SNARPHALEFEL.
Okay,
Blarbon Krapor Flarschneibeliermumlervel. And
okay. And how much money you are looking for?
I hear classical music. Do you copy?
Yeah, it's like a 20 or 25 or $30,000 in your account.
I don't know. I thought we were talking about classical music when we left off.
No, we are not talking about the classical music. We was talking about the cash advance.